look at her stats, she's basically the sword version of her, which is ridiculous to begin with. So
why does she have 36
That's
speed?
what
Why
I'm saying.
is
Like
Lucina so fast?
she's an amazing unit on its own already, offensively, and then she has this ridiculous amount of support. So she's clearly top tier now. Like it's just
I love
she's
it.
a great
I love
unit.
it.
She is a great unit overall.
I definitely agree with what you said, that how great she is. I think that I don't think she's. How do I explain this? In my opinion, there's always been a certain line of things that you absolutely need in the game, and then there's things that you could have but don't absolutely need. Do you think that Erica and Ephraim are like okay substitutes? Like, let's just say I didn't want to summon for Lancina in this orb banner. If I had an Erica or an Ephraim instead, would it still be okay to use them, or should I specifically go for Lancina because there is nothing better?
No, that's not what I'm saying here. Erica and Ephraim still have their roles, right? I mean, you still need to buff the actual stats for instance, like Blade Mages to be effective. So Lucina's not going to go with Blade Mages. She's mostly there to buff like other melee users or like physical attack units.
Oh no, I definitely agree with that. That I'm just saying that. That some people out there might feel like they need every single one of these units, even though they might have okay substitutes in case they're not running for Blade Mage, for example, or in case they're like, I don't know. I think you understand.
I do.
I'm trying
So
to give, right?
In terms of like in your core team, I would say she will definitely be the better pick out of all of those three support units, because she's just fantastic on her own. She's so good, like on her own, right? Like if you compare her and Ephraim in terms of just raw combat ability, it's not even close, right?
Well, that's because Ephraim's slow, though.
Yeah, Ephraim is slow, but she still already has just as much depth as him as well, and just as much attack. So it's like, so at this point, it's like, well, why would you ever use Ephraim in combat? She just dwarfs him in every possible way.
Generally, I thought people who use Ephraim just use him to buff a blade tome, so like he doesn't see combat anyway.
He has good combat ability. It's just you have to take into account his speed, right? But now you have Lucina, who basically gets rid of that problem as well. So it's like, well, here we go. Like she's just flat out amazing.
Well, but she doesn't buff. She can't buff tomes, right? She can only buff
correct.
Physical hitters, bows.
So it really
swords.
depends on your core units that you're going to be taking, on who you want as a support unit. If you're still mostly coring a Blade Mage, you're not going to be taking her for sure.
Okay, I would argue about Ephraim too, but that's the conversation for a different time. I think we should move on.
And what's the other one? It's Roy. I didn't summon him, so I keep forgetting. You said you thought he was the best Red Cav.
I would say he's probably the best Red Cavalier right now. His stats are amazing. The weapon is just absolutely absurd. He comes with a great kit already. He gets his emblem buffs. Like he's just amazing all around.
I agree. I think he is an amazing unit overall. But I know this is a but, and I know I'm probably going to get hate for this. I'm okay with it. Please go ahead. In my opinion, Roy is an incredible unit. Really, really good. And incredible at initiating things. I still think that if you have a Xander, if you've plussed out your Xander, you have a 5-star Xander, maybe +1, or even if you have you've built the Xander completely, that you should probably go for specifically for Lynn, Ike, or other units before going for Roy. Because I think that if you have a Xander, not that you don't need Roy. Roy is still a really good unit, but he's definitely less on your priority list than the others.
I would agree to a certain extent. If you're just looking for a base core team, if you already have a Xander ready, he's already filling the role of the Red Cavalier. But things like Arena Assault are out now, and you need multiple checks for various units. So it's never bad to have multiple units in a similar role to counter certain threats.
Yeah. Like, I have so many of the same, like, kind of unit because of those things, and I've had mostly not any problem with, like, Arena Assault. Like, I have so many, let me see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40, like 60-something 5-star units already. And, like, there's so, like, even if I have, like, both Delphia and Lind, like, they're both gonna help me out in those sort of multi-map
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
situations.
Like and not only that, like Xander has pretty much no player phase. Like they do very different things, right? Like Roy actually can do some enemy phase, depending on what skills you give him. But I mean, Xander's just too slow to do anything on the player phase. But yeah, like I mean, like when Roy gets going, he because of his kit and how he can keep reducing cooldown, he can just slap on Gale Force, right? He takes a little bit of damage. He goes down 50% HP. He's going to be in Wings of Mercy range. So you bring a couple of dancers, he can basically just route the whole map by himself.
Oh, absolutely! I definitely agree with that. He is incredible on a with using Gale Force and dancers and things like that. Just like I would maybe argue that while regular Cordelia is a completely different type and also a completely different unit, he definitely can rival her, if not overpass her, as just outputting damage with Gale Force.
Yeah,
and having like desperation.
Those one turn like clears of really like crazy maps with like just one Gale Force unit and 3 dancers. Those are like the craziest thing. And I mean, I know if you have the units, it's not like it's that hard to do because I mean it's pretty strong. But it's still, like, amazing to just see, you know? Because there's people with plenty of good 5-star level 40 kitted out units, but they still struggle. And then you just see, like, the insane Gale Force Dancer strats. And it's just a whole separate level, you know?
I think we kind of skipped on Ike, didn't we?
Well, we kind of talked about Ike in the beginning.
Yeah.
Would you like to go back to Ike?
I would like to say one thing about Ike, though. I'm sorry for prolonging this, but I understand that having DC on Ike is a bad idea. It absolutely is a bad idea because you want those consecutive hits, so that way he just takes less damage and you can charge up a special more. But is there any case where that might actually be a good idea?
DC is actually not bad, especially if you are in anywhere between the 690 to about 720 bracket, where emblem mages are rampant. Because a DC Bayork Blessing Ike will pretty much check any emblem mage you throw at him. Like, there's just no question. He's just going to kill him. It doesn't even matter if he has a weapon triangle disadvantage. He's going to kill him. So it's actually quite useful for that. But he's a specialized check, but he can check like everybody. He can check Reinhardt. He can check Bunny and Camilla. He can check Cecilia. He can check all of them, right? So in that bracket, he's actually very potent for that particular role, in my opinion.
So again, it's just back to it depends on what you're facing, like in which skill you want to have.
Yep.
Really.
But like his A skill, the steady breath skill, oh, it's so amazing. You give it to.
I don't think we're going to see another.
So good.
We're not going to the opposite of the blow skills where you get 4 on the enemy phase.
Like,
we're not going to see any more of those.
That skill is just so good. Like you put it on a native DC user like Ryoma or Ike, it's just so good.
Or boy,
it's so good.
We're not going to get it. We're not. There's no way they're going to give us that.
I think they screwed up because the way that the skill I think is supposed to work is that when you get hit, it's supposed to charge on 1 cooldown, but it works when you counter hit too. So it's like, what is this? Are you for real? Like, did he just reduce 4 CD in 1 single turn of combat? Yeah, it's a great skill.
I love it.
To a certain select group of units, I would say for sure.
Yeah.
Even on lightning breathers, it's still like that is so dumb.
Great on dragons.
That's perfect.
Great on like the physical brutes, like people that you would never consider, like Hinata or like Lucas, can use that very effectively.
I gotta give it to my boy Stall. Stall is perfectly average.
Well, he can't because he's a horse. It actually has a pretty strong restriction.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Oh yeah,
right?
You're right.
Yeah, because the minute I saw that skill, I was like, oh my god, that's so going on my Baruka. I was like looking forward to it so much. And then the restriction came, like, oh my god, my dreams are shot down. I was so sad.
Yo, that would have been crazy.
Yeah, like she would basically instantly KO anybody that attacks her. It would have been amazing.
Oh my! Think about Lucas with Killer Lance Plus.
Yeah, like Lucas, he doesn't need it. He doesn't even need Killer Lance because he gets
Well, no, he would just he wouldn't even need it.
He just needs QR and steady, and he can pretty much. Some of the tier list guys were doing calcs earlier with it, and he pretty much kills like a lot of those heavy axes that you would never even think of. Like Amelia dies, and like Bartra dies.
Wait, does he one shot Amelia?
One round KO. One round KO. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, right. Like you would never even imagine it, but like the counter Ignis hit does like 40 something damage, so like it just cuts through all of that, right? So you could do some crazy strats with that skill. It's a pretty interesting skill.
Hearing you say that, it's related, but it's not exactly on topic. You're talking about the one turn clears with Gale Force.
Yeah.
I'm not a whale. I know my friend Fox here is, and from the sound of things, you might be too, Cupcake. How difficult for a whale would you say the infernal GHBs are? Because a lot of people complain about, well, the stats are so high, as if they've never played. Like, because that's how you do difficulty in an RPG, right? You give the enemies like crazy stats or access to skills that the opponent that you can't use, or classes, or they don't like whenever there's a square that they can't put a character on and tank because all three that one square gets assaulted by all three colors, so no one can take all three. That's like, it breaks your strategy. It's supposed to be a strategy game, right?
Yeah.
Your strategy can't be, I put this guy here and tank here, because that would cheese the map. Like, people were averse to difficult, and I thought that the idea of infernal was that it was supposed to be a whale tier difficulty, but after seeing the one turn clears, I'm not so sure. So what are your thoughts on how difficult the game gets at its worst?
I don't know if whales, but you have to like dedicate a lot of time or merges to get like even enough SP for like Gale Force and stuff. And I mean, but in general, for most players or even most whale or dolphin tier people, it's not going to be a walk in the park, but it's usually doable, because like I've been following the strats that people post for all the Grand Hero battles, and
go ahead and plug it. No, you don't be afraid. Go ahead and plug it.
Yeah, I have my website. It's yaycupcake.com/feh, FEH, and it's where I compile all the videos that I find of the different strategies that people make for the Grand Hero battles and the Bound Hero battles, and I might add more different kinds of special maps soon. But I keep track of all of these things, and I've noticed that you can pretty much do it with 4-star units and a lot of the common ones, but you gotta be really, like, good with the strategy. Like, you can't just go in all guns blazing and expect to win. A lot of the time, there's certain ways you have to play, you know, and you have to think everything through. But the thing is, with the power creeping and with how it's gotten harder, the Vaulter Infernal mode, that just destroyed every free-to-play player, or like people who do the free-to-play
you say that,
strats.
but I beat it though. I beat it, and I didn't use, at a time, I didn't even have a Horse Emblem team, and I don't have a Brave Bow. I beat it without Brave Bow and Horse Emblem. I know it can be done because I did it. I didn't even use Blade Tome. I didn't use Blade Tome at all.
If you limit just to the free-to-play strats, like with literally just the 3 units and like no skill inheritance, like nobody has really done that.
The way I think about it is that being a whale is not necessarily going to get you that win. There's a lot of whales that just whale but don't really understand AI manipulation and things like that quite well yet. So they just sort of like follow what other whales are doing, but they're not really thinking about what they need to do in order to beat that map. They just sort of follow a pattern when somebody makes a video. I'm sure there's a lot of people who do that and a lot of people who don't. But it's not necessarily that you need to be a whale to beat it or free to play, because I also know free to play players who are fantastic and can beat a lot of content with just whatever they have.
Yeah, that definitely. The thing with that is, like, I know that you can definitely win with pretty much like weaker or more common units, so you definitely don't have to be a whale. But a lot of the maps are getting harder because it's gotten to the point where you really struggle to do it without skill inheritance and 5 stars and things like that. So you you can't just go completely no summons.
Intelligent systems now expects you to be at a certain level with skill intelligence being out, with all these great units coming out. They expect you to be at a certain point where you can clear some of these content, and if you can't, Infernal is not really designed for you anyway.